Another one for Tommy Boy. Another one for the world. Another one for the listeners. And maybe for the
Episode 13 of the Third Leg Podcast. As always, I'm your host, Riley Warren. Along with me is my co-host and co-star, Dr. Dunny. What's up, buddy?
Not much, buddy. Been a long Memorial Day weekend. Time to start talk about some sports again.
Hell yeah, man. How was your Memorial Day weekend?
Pretty good. Went down to South Carolina, caught up with my best friend from PT school, his wife and their son. It was a good time.
Hell yeah, buddy. While you were down there, I was in Texas soaking up some sun, man. I got burnt.
I saw that. It looked like you were catching all the rays.
Yeah, bro. You can't go out in Texas unless you're in the water. Like nowadays, it's like 100 degrees and it's just dry ass fucking heat.
I couldn't do it. I am not a big guy for going out in the sun. So you guys can go to the beach or stay by the pool. You catch me in the AC. I'll come out at nighttime.
For sure. We went to the beach one day, and the only way you can go to the beach is if you're under an umbrella the entire time or you're in the water the entire time.
Right, and then you got to wear shoes if you're on the sand because that motherfucker is burning.
Dude, I had the cooler and I was running with it because I didn't have my flops on. Unlucky, bro. I had fucking burnt feet for 2 days.
You learn fast, for sure. There,
Absolutely.
quick feet.
Quick feet. Can't sink. We got to catch up on NBA. We had the Celtics taking 4, 5, and 6, and then the Heat pull out Game 7, so they're not the first team out of 140 in the NBA playoffs to be the first one reverse swept. So good to see there. Not good to see Tatum going down on literally the first fucking play of the game.
Right. Obviously, he continued to play, right? So it wasn't like it was an injury that knocked him out, but was he the same player? A lot of people say no. The Heat thoroughly dominated that game, though. If you watch, like they could not miss, and then Jimmy Buckets was actually making shots, since unlike what he did in Game 6. So just crazy. It was a good series. Game 6 ended in a wild fashion. I was up late watching that and couldn't believe the comeback. The Heat finally take the lead because Jimmy could actually make a shot finally, and then to end it like they did was just ridiculous.
I just thought it was wild, like just thinking about, and they put on like 0.6 of a second before that happened, and if that didn't happen, that's game over. That's why they have to do that shit. But it was just crazy how fast of a shot Smart went up, and just the perfect like tip. You know, the perfect rebound tip scenario. Like that ball could have went anywhere off the rim, and it just so happened to swirl around and have a perfect tip in for him.
Right, and that's what kind of Spoelstra said after the game as well. He's like, if that ball goes off the rim anywhere else other than where it did, we're in the finals already. Let's go. We'll line it up right now. We want to play right now. But then they took care of business in Boston.
Yeah, it's unlucky for Game 6. I kind of thought momentum was swinging, and then they were going back to Boston. I was like, oh, fuck, dude, this is actually happening. It's going to be the first team ever to get reverse swept, and Miami just, ran the floor with them. So that was cool to see. I'm glad it was a 7-game series, or at least, I wanted it to be 6-7, coming out 2-0. Miami beating Boston 2-0 in their house. So I was like, just give me a series, because on the other side, it was a 3-0, 2-0 for Denver over LA. I'm just like, please give me one conference finals that's close. So right. I was glad the East actually, had it go 7, and the NBA got to, rake in a little extra money.
Yeah, no collusion there or anything like that. But hey, props to the Celtics for actually battling. I just, I couldn't believe. I think it was Game 5 or Game 6. I think it was Game 6. We watched. It was either Jimmy or Bam went up for a dunk, and Al Horford went up and put the stuff on him. I'm like, what the hell? Riley, did you see
lucky.
that?
He got lucky, bro.
Good God. The old man climbed the ladder and said, get the hell out of here.
That was his one jump he had for the playoffs. That's all he had. He was building it up to that.
Saving it for the right time, for sure.
Do you think, or what do you think the Celtics do in the offseason?
I know we've been talking about it a lot, like the last couple episodes. Okay, what are they going to do? What are they going to do? You have to get rid of Jaylen Brown now, right? Like, it's time to blow it up. What can you get? I saw one ESPN commentator talking about, okay, if you trade Jaylen Brown and you get like the 3rd pick in the draft this year, plus a decent person from last year's draft. I think it's from the Rockets. I think the Rockets have the
They have
third pick.
they have a lot to play with, the Rockets do.
Right. So you get the player from last year's draft, who I think was Jalen Green or something like that.
Yep.
The third pick in the draft this year. So they'd probably take the point guard, Scoot Henderson. Is that point guard? Something like that. And then have the team that they already have. They compete. They're good. And now they have, all these assets built up. Like, I don't know. Is it good enough? They were saying that they become the best suitor for Luka Doncic when he is a free agent in
Boston?
2 years. Yeah, like they're trying to build that scenario. I'm
Oh
like,
my
good
God.
night, dude. Like playing the long game, I guess, if you want to get Luka, but damn.
That's just crazy to think about. Like, people are already thinking like it's chalk the next 2 years, and they just went Game 7 in the Eastern Conference Finals. Like, they're one game away from being in the finals, and they're like, yeah, this team fucking sucks, blow it up.
Yep. They've been in the finals 4 straight years.
That's crazy.
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure at least, because going back though this year, obviously last year they went to the finals. They lost to the Bucks. They were in the bubble. So that's 4 right there.
That's crazy. I mean, they have a lot of like. I feel like it's more than Jaylen Brown.
Oh,
I feel like in the playoffs, Marcus Smart stepped up a lot. I felt like he had more productivity than he did in the last half of the regular season. But all the other guys around him, like Brogdon, White did okay a few games, but they're just not. There's not enough like both way players on this team. There's a lot of like shooters, but they can't play defense. There's a lot of one-on-one matchups, and then when you get in the playoffs, and it's just complete schemes on how do we get one-on-one and how do we open up the court for these specific players to go at the second or third worst defenders on the team. I feel like they're just too vulnerable.
no, absolutely. And they continually put their big guy in pick and roll situation because if they're switching, okay, Al Horford has to guard Jimmy Butler. Sorry, it's just not going to happen. Like, you need a guy who's quick enough or who is going to be dominant on the other end, which Al Horford, can he be a role player? Yeah, but I don't think he can be like that guy that you count on to be in the middle to actually kind of hold down your defense. Kind of like what Brook Lopez does for Milwaukee, but Giannis is that guy who can lock down the middle when need be, right? Like Jason Tatum isn't as big as Giannis, so he can't do it as effectively. That's what I was just thinking of that.
Yeah, for sure. And he's obviously the highest paid center on their team, so that doesn't bow well when you're thinking of the best centers in the league, and he's not even in the top, like 8, top 7. So it's like we're expecting to go to the finals with players on the court that are not even like top 10 in their own like individual part of the game,
Right. No, I 100% agree. Their bench didn't really show up. Grant Williams, last year he played very well in the playoffs. This year it was almost non-existent. Brogdon, obviously 6th man of the year, played decent, but for 6th man of the year, I expected him to have a little bit more of a spark for every game. He did miss a couple because of injury, but still, I was expecting more. And then it looked like they were only 7, 8 deep at max, with Robert Williams being the 8th guy, and then other people would come in for very minute minutes and then get right back out.
Yeah, and Grant Williams was poking the bear. We can't forget about that. He
Right.
did nothing after that either.
No, and that's what's really crazy is like, okay, you pissed off Jimmy, and then you just went and cowered on the bench. You didn't do anything to try and, stand up for yourself so that, okay, I can poke the bear, but I'm still going to be here. Like, yeah, I fucked up the first game, but okay, I'm still here playing.
It's like, did you not watch Dylan Brooks literal weeks before you? Like, someone's got to go into the locker room and be like, all right, nobody talk shit to Jimmy. Like, just nobody talk shit to Jimmy. That's the same thing I'm sure they said with Jordan, and I'm not comparing them, but that mentality, let's not fuck with him. Like, personally, let's not actually fuck with him,
I think, who is it? Shumpert has a great story.
The best storyteller. Shumpert is the best storyteller in the league, dude. I can't remember any time he's popped up on my timeline and I didn't watch the full 3-minute video.
he talks about MJ and he was locking him up for 3 quarters. Was it Kobe?
It
No,
was
it was
cold.
Kobe. It was Kobe. Yeah, locked him up for 3 quarters and was talking smack. Someone on his team was a veteran. Said, don't do that. Don't do that. Kobe comes up to him to start the fourth. You had a good game, kid. He's like, "What you talking about?" And then,
Scores like 20 in the fourth quarter to win.
yep, and Kobe was doing like jump stop shot fake, pivot shot fake, throw it off the blackboard to yourself, jump, catch, pass to the corner, and Shumpert's like, "What are you on, dude? Like, come on."
Gave him that extra motivation, bro. You don't fuck with players like that.
You really don't. They're like, of the three people that if you think of killer mentality, those are the three you could think of right now in today's game. Jimmy Butler, the 2000s Kobe, and then 90s and 80s MJ, obviously. So
Yeah, playoff Jimmy Butler.
agreed. Yeah, regular season Jimmy Butler, if they're up by 20,
He don't
down
give
by
a
20,
fuck.
he's not even playing the third quarter or the fourth quarter. So.
That's kind of how I felt on every off game Miami has. It's just like not like a super slump of Jimmy, but like morale wise and like energy wise, like it's just not there. Like he's just not wasting his time. Like
right.
when he knows it's chalked, it's chalked.
Mm-hmm. When he knows everyone's probably giving max effort and no one's like slacking, and he's not slacking, and it's just they don't have it that night. He's like, all right, you know what, fuck it, we're go to the next game. Whereas like if he knows people are maybe not giving max effort or he has still some in the tank to go, he's like, all right, the game ain't over yet.
Yeah, he's on their ass.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what do you think the Heat are going to do? Do you think they're going to make this a series at all?
Personally, after watching the first game, I think it'll be a sweep, as much as I hate to say it. But if you're a Heat fan, okay, positives that you can take away from game one. You lost by 11. Caleb Martin, Max Strauss, 1 of 11 from the 3-point line, 1 of 17 from the field. Ugh. And your team only shot 2 free throws. Total.
Jesus Christ. The whole game?
The whole game. 2 free throws. It's a historic low. And this is a team that made 40 free throws in a game this season.
Holy shit.
Yeah. So, like, you lost by 11. Your 2 shooters that start for you guys obviously were throwing up bricks and building houses. And then you didn't get to the free throw line. So if you can change something about that, okay, maybe something can turn around. You can pull out game 2, send it to Miami tied up, and then anything can happen, right?
Do you think that's a testament to Denver's defense, or do you think that Miami wasn't playing aggressive enough? Or do you think the refs were just scamming?
Truthfully, it's tough to say. I would assume I turned the game off after halftime because I went to bed, but it didn't look like Miami was looking to create contact to get to the hole and get to the free throw line. You saw a little bit of it in the Boston series when they were getting beat at home. They're in the bonus already, but they can't make shots, so they're not going to the hole because they're scared or they don't want to be that guy that's going to the line. But guys, you gotta attack. Like, you cannot take the foot off the pedal. Eventually, something's gonna go down. It's a game of percentages, and you always go back to the mean, right? If you're low it, you're gonna go up. So that's my thought philosophy, at least.
Yeah, and I guess it plays a little into it. When you're down 10, you're probably not taking bunnies and layups as much. When you get into the paint, it's a kick out 3 type scenario. Right. That's kind of the mentality going into it. So it probably all plays into a factor.
I will say that, like, Denver's supporting cast, if we're talking about that kind of stuff and compare it to, Boston, LA, Miami, their supporting cast is just phenomenal. The way they built that squad, it's like art, like the Joker, best player on the planet right now, but he knows where to hit people. Everyone is willing to cut. Everyone is ready to catch and shoot. And then when they need a bucket and Jamal says, get out the way, they'll get out the way. There's no problem about that.
He's got to be like the only straight up 5 ever to be able to touch the ball almost every time the floor goes down, other than like Shaq and shit. But as like a someone dishing it out, like he had like 8 assists before he had 10 points the other night. Like right. He touches the ball and finds the open guy. Like it's insane that a center does it so well.
And when you like, okay, if you're a coach and you're in that coaching mentality and you're trying to, whether it be your niece or your nephew or your son trying to get them to go and learn the game of basketball, that's what you want, right? Like you want someone who, okay, if I put the ball in your hands, you're either going to get a layup if it's open, or if someone else is open because they're coming at you, get it to him, get him a good shot. He's the perfect player right now, or as close to perfect as you can be, I guess. Um, it's all around already the best big man for passing ever in my eyes. So I don't know. He's fun to watch.
Yeah, and then like you said, the cast around him is like his supporting cast is so good, and they hit their shots. Obviously, a lot of them are open, and he draws a lot of attention, but they're hitting their shots. And then Jamal Murray's just on a different fucking planet in the playoffs. Like he did what everyone hoped he would do in the playoffs again.
100%. I wish Monte would still be on the team to get this ship.
Dude, I'm
because he
telling you,
left
bro.
one year after, but
I don't
still.
know. He had to go play with fucking Kuzma in Washington, bro. Unlucky.
For sure. Yep, it is. But hey, good for Denver. It's going to be their first ring if they can pull it out. It'll be either be their first ring or an 8 seed's first ring. So we'll have a first for sure.
I don't really care about Denver. I'm just happy for Joker. Specifically. Yeah. Like he should have already got the MVP. He's guaranteed, almost guaranteed, unless Jamal Murray goes for like 35 for the next 3 games to get the finals MVP. I don't know. I just feel like he deserved it. I feel like he's been in the league a little bit with this like monkey on his back to like get to the championship or like do well in the playoffs and like get to the finals. So I'm happy he gets to the finals once and he wins. Like There's not like this monkey on his back for the next 2 years to like if they did lose this year,
Give the man some respect. Like
yeah, it's like the Joker had one of the best like 3 seasons in a row, probably ever. I mean, other than maybe Houston James Harden. Like statistically,
right?
Like it's just out of this world numbers, and I'm just happy he's getting the chip.
Absolutely, he's a goofy son of a gun, but hey, good for him.
He's funny. I seen a clip like Luca was like, dude, you got to get on Instagram. Like I've been trying to get on Instagram. He's like, he hates social media. He just likes his horses. He just loves his horses. And I'm like, what the fuck?
Sounds about right though.
That's Joker. I think the Heat will take 1. Okay. I don't think the series goes over 5 games. I do think the Heat have like a very superb shooting night, and I think they'll take 1. I guess I'm hoping.
If you're listening to this and you like that, you agree with Riley and I, on DraftKings right now, you can get exact 4 games at plus 300, exact 5 games at plus 205, or you can go under 5.5 games at minus 125. So not bad odds if you think the Heat only win 1 game.
Yeah, I like the minus 5.5 a lot.
Right.
And obviously it's recency bias, and we got to watch the first game, and it was a blowout. So like, sharp money is probably going to eat up Miami's like plus, just because there's going to be so much money on Denver, and the line will probably go to like 10 before the game starts, 9.5 or some shit. So
that's for sure.
Yeah, I like the Nuggets winning at home. Miami maybe snag 1, and then they bring the chip to Denver in Denver, game 5.
That's how it went in the bubble for LA. They I think they were up 2-0, lost game 3, then won game 4 the next 5. Yeah, against Miami. So,
yeah.
Other NBA news: the Pistons got screwed again. The NBA lottery.
The fucking Pistons in the lottery, bro.
How many games did we win this year?
18, and we got the 5th pick, bro.
18 out of 82, and you only get pick 5. You don't even get a chance at the second best player, the third best player, worst team in the league. You get the 5th pick.
I think they fucked up the balls in there. I think we're short a few.
I mean, who knows? It could be Victor Wembanyama. You're going to San Antonio. He's been there a few times already. So even before
like workouts and stuff.
Yeah, because of Tony Parker and Boris Diaw, both from France. So
oh shit, what a connect.
Yep. So he kind of already knows the San Antonio area. He knows Greg Popovich, so it just worked out perfect for him. Again, no clue.
Worked out perfect for Popovich, bro.
Right.
How do you get that generational talent
Probably
it just
his
falls
last.
into your hands, and you weren't even the worst team last year.
Yep. So they have a couple good pieces on their team, so it'll be fun to watch them play. He was kind of talking about how he expects to compete for championships. So that's what his mentality from day one is going to be, is to compete for a championship, which is good to see. And obviously, you're going to hear that from a lot of the kids that are getting drafted. But sometimes when you're going to that bottom dwelling team, you don't really have that option. But who knows? If he's that good, look out.
Please, dear Lord, no injuries. Let this man's capabilities be fulfilled in year 1 and 2, so we can actually see what he's doing.
Amen. Because we haven't even seen like Chet Holmgren play yet, and he's taller Chet Holmgren. Like, it's just insane.
I know everyone was on Chet's nuts, and then it was like, well, wait till next year.
Yeah.
Wait till next year.
Rudy Gobert, who's also French, who just got an award in France, and they had him standing side by side. And Victor is like 3 inches taller than Rudy, and Rudy's like 7'1".
Yeah, he makes Rudy look small.
Insane.
If they put some weight on Victor, bro, he's going to be insane. He's already going to be insane, but if they can just get a little build on him, because even KD's got a little build compared to when he got into the league. He's obviously still like a toothpick, but compared to when he came from Texas, dude, that guy, a big gust of wind would have took him away.
Like a toothpick.
Literally. I swear, dude, a 7-foot toothpick.
It'll be fun to watch, though, because, I wonder what his lines will be when they first game of the season.
Boy, his preseason games are going to be at 24 and a half points. I swear to God. Do you think the Pistons make any changes?
It's hard to say, right? Like, we have Bojan, who it will be another guy who's talked about for heavy trades around the trade
deadline.
Thank you. That's the D word
Got
I was
you,
looking
bro.
for. Trade deadline. This year, like he was this past season. I would be hard pressed to say no, that they don't, because Monty Williams, who we just signed as the head coach, obviously has his system that he wants to run. I don't know if anyone has a 3 or 4 big man system anymore, because that's what the Pistons have right now. So they'll probably be looking to move someone. I would say get rid of Beef Stew if you can, because he's might be the most value, and he's the least valued in my eyes.
Yeah, I feel you. I feel like Detroit has a lot of young talent that they can move. Maybe it was like a year or two late with some of them, like Killian Hayes.
Right.
One of the worst players in the league. There is literally Killian Hayes like hate accounts on like TikTok. Just like Killian Hayes highlights, and it's just like a black video and then it cuts. Killian Hayes can go, Stu can go, Bogdanovich.
Yep.
He's a bucket, but he's super good trade capital. Get him out of here. And see what kind of veterans we can bring in and actually like start winning games. Because obviously tanking doesn't fucking matter.
Right.
It doesn't matter if you tank and win 18 games. You're still going to be the 5th pick because you have the Detroit luck.
It's the truth. It'll be hopefully Jaden and Cade can play together this year with Jalen Duren. He looked really good through the middle stretch of the season. And people were talking about how, like, sometimes if you're going to box out a guy, you can kind of move him. And then there's the big dudes that you're like, damn, you're kind of strong. And normally the young guys, you can move them pretty early, pretty easy. I forget which NBA player it was, but he went up against Jalen Duren and he goes, damn, this boy is strong. And he's only 17 or 18, no, 19. The youngest player in the NBA last year. And it's just insane to see that he's already that good. He has the drive to go get the ball on the offensive boards and defensive boards. He had like multiple double-doubles last year. It's going to be fun to watch.
I was going to say he's pretty much a walking like 15, 7, and 8. 15, 7 or 8,
And a lot of times, like, on the lines, you can find, like, PR at, like, 19 and a half for him. And I'm like, thank you for the easy money.
How do you feel about the new Monty Williams head coach position? 78.5 milli.
Over 6 years.
6 years. It's a lot of fucking money, buddy.
It's a lot of money. But the guy has had success in the past, right? He coached Chris Paul when he was in New Orleans, and obviously coach Chris Paul again in the Suns. Didn't do what he wanted in the Suns, but he's a respected guy. He was arguably the best name on the market this offseason. Um, and we got him. So you can't be upset about it. I was happy about the Dwayne Casey signing a couple years ago, and I would be hard to say I'm displeased with the Monty Williams signing. So I'm hopeful, but obviously it's the Detroit Pistons, so I won't hold my breath.
For sure. I guess it really comes down to the players. I feel like Casey was a good signing, and then you just have so many injuries. The whole team's young. You have no leadership. What are you supposed to do in 3-4 years?
Right. And I mean, like, can Cade stay healthy? If Cade can stay healthy, okay, maybe we can have a decent team.
Well, that's unlucky that we got to worry about such a young player being healthy for a full season.
Right.
Unlucky. Yeah, I don't mind the signing, though. I really don't mind the signing. I feel like he has playoff experience, and he kind of knows how to develop a team. And when he was at the Suns, they drafted really well. I mean, they got Ayton. People thought he was going to be a bust. Ended up being a big role for him, playing a big role for him. Kind of shit the bed this year, but for the run that they had at the Suns, or for his run at the Suns, like I feel like they like micromanaged very well.
Definitely. If the Pistons compete and they end up being not someone who's going to be in the top 3 picks next year, but they're like maybe 9 to 15, somewhere in there. Okay, do you waste your first round pick on taking Bronny James, regardless of how he plays in college this year, in hopes of getting him and LeBron for one season?
I mean, at the end of the day, if it looks like LeBron really is gonna like take his 1 year and not sign anywhere, see where he goes, and like if shit's leading up to that, I think you have to, because that's a 2-man deal, and he's gonna do it for cheap because they're trying to win.
Right.
Bronny will be cheap because he'll be a rookie, cheap, and then LeBron will be cheaper than he ever has on the last year of his career, and he's going for a ring or he's trying to do as best as he can.
Right.
So I would. I mean, it's not going to happen, and if it were to happen, the Lions it wouldn't, or the Pistons, it wouldn't happen to the Pistons. Something would happen. Someone would take them before. Something would happen, but theoretically, at this point, with the Pistons in the last 10 years, fuck it.
I agree. When it becomes very interesting is if Bronny doesn't play well in college, like has a an average season, let's say, not isn't a standout by any means though, and you're a lottery pick, so you're in like the upper fives, top 5 pick probably. Do you
If you're gonna waste, I
do
got
you throw away the talent that you could take to get Bron and Bronny, or do what do you do?
I don't think there's a GM in the world that has, if like I said, if things line up and it looks like he's actually going to do it, there's literally no way in fucking hell. It could be the first pick. You're taking Bronny for LeBron. That's a 2-picker. I don't think if you're a GM and you miss it and the team next does it, you're going to be the worst GM in the league. You'll be the biggest dumbass in the league. It's not like there's going to be another Victor that you're passing up on instead of Bronny.
It's going to be very interesting if it was Bronny and Victor going in the same draft.
Well, it still would have been the same to me. I still feel like the Spurs, they're going to take them. They're long term. The second pick would have been the best pick in the draft because that would have been Bronny.
Obviously, time will tell. I think it'll be the hype or the talk of the NBA draft next year, and might even get more people to watch the NBA draft next year because what is going to happen? No one knows.
Nobody fucking knows, dude. All right, NBA's done. NFL.
All the news is DeAndre Hopkins. Where is he going? He got cut by the Cardinals. Crazy that you couldn't even trade him for what you sent the Texans, which was like a bag of peanuts and a deflated football. And now you're just cutting him, not getting anything back.
Yeah, well, he was scheduled to hit 30 mil cap this year, which would be the highest ever. So they said they basically just aren't believing in the 31-year-old D-Hop to invest 30 million and are going to try to go more the Bengals route where you're drafting dudes or you're picking up, but you got 30 mil to work with there.
Right.
So basically they just didn't want to pay the 30 mil. Top teams that people think he's going to go to: Bills, Miami, Ravens, Browns, the Lions.
Honolulu Blue. Come on, D-Hop. Let's go.
I know it'll never happen, but could you imagine Amon-Ra, J-Mo, Marvin Jones, and then D-Hop?
Just,
And then you got Jahmyr Gibbs and Montgomery running back behind one of the
excited.
better lines.
I'm getting excited.
I know, I'm tucking it in my waistband, but... And Hopkins was the most heavily used wide receiver in the league, like per team. 35% of all reception yards for the Cardinals went through him. So he's got the most usage, and he's expected the most money. So I mean, if you're the team that needs him, it's expected, and I don't think too many teams are batting an eye. But if he were to go to the Bills, I think he would take a big cut, like literally 10 mil, to go play for the Bills and try to get a chip.
Right, and I think it comes down to, okay, is D-Hop chasing his bag or is he chasing a ring at this point? You know, like if he's looking for money, okay, probably not going to any of the teams we just listed. If he's going to someone who's contending or potentially contending for a Super Bowl, all right, where are you going to go and take less money?
Well, I know he came out and said in the interview when they were asking him, like, it's got to be a very competent quarterback and it's got to have an elite defense. AKA, I want to go try to win a chip.
Right.
You know, so there's a lot of teams that already got ruled out just because they don't have a chance.
Right.
Not that they don't have the cap space and need a wide receiver, just the fact that they have the cap space, need the wide receiver, and their team's shit.
How the hell do the Miami Dolphins keep all three receivers happy if D-Hop goes there?
Winning games, buddy.
Winning keeps everyone happy, right?
Winning keeps everyone happy, bro.
Like, okay, Lions, that would be fun. Miami, how do you stop it? Their cap space is already minus 100 million, probably. The Ravens, they just got a couple new shiny targets for Lamar. Can you imagine adding D-Hop? When Lamar just said our offense is going to be a lot less run and more pass this season. So that'll be fun.
OBJ, D-Hop, that would be nasty.
Right, on top of Mark Andrews, arguably, top 2 tight end in the league.
Guaranteed. Just top 2. Another team, Kansas City Chiefs. They're popping up 2 days ago. Kansas City Chiefs. They don't pay their receivers a lot, if you think about it. They got Juju, Coleman, or who is it?
Mecole Hardman.
No, Hardman, yeah. I was just combining his name. And then they have Sky.
Yep.
Sky Moore that just came through. And then Tony. They have one more. And Tony. Like, they have, like, probably one of the lowest receiving core salaries definitely in any, like, top 5 team. Especially a Super Bowl team.
Oh, for sure. It's just because Andy Reid's offense is just so perfect.
Yeah. I don't know. They have the cap space to do it. So I would be intrigued to see, because this just came out like a day ago. A lot of these teams were like the last week or whatever, but like a day ago there was a little more pickup on the Chiefs, and then there was a little more on the Cowboys.
Puke in my mouth hearing that name.
CeeDee Lamb, and then they just got Brandon Cooks, and we all know Jerry Jones loves to make a splash.
Ugh. Puke. I hope he doesn't go there. That'd be ugly. I'd rather even see him go to the play with A-Rod and the Jets or something like that. Like,
yeah, I did see that too, but I feel like there's a chance he might want to stay in a dome. He's been playing in a dome for 10 years.
Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to think of where the closest dome to us is, but Ford Field. Come on, D-Hop, let's go.
Come on down, buddy. Come on down.
Deshaun Watson obviously gonna call up D-Hop and say, "Yo, come, let's run it back."
Yeah, you remember me? Back.
The guy who made you, or not made you good, but helped you be very, very successful. Yeah, come on down.
Yeah, that'd be fun. I'm excited to see that. And then the other one was Delvin Cook. They said they're not paying him. They're shopping him around. A lot of people are saying Broncos or Miami again. I don't know what's up with Miami. I don't even know how they can afford any more offensive talent, but Miami's on the chop block again.
Any more talent in general. Good God. Traded for Jalen Ramsey, still have X, Howard, and then obviously all the offensive weapons that they have. Denver, that's interesting. They have never had like a stud running back. They always are kind of running back by committee from what I can even remember, all the way back to like Terrell Davis. Okay, now they have a stud running back. Sean Payton, he likes receiving backs. Dalvin Cook can catch the ball out of the backfield. So it makes sense.
It's crazy to me seeing just seeing Dalvin Cook not get re-signed is kind of not alarming, but it's wild because obviously we get to watch him 2 games a year versus the Lions. He's always going for a hundo. Super hard-nosed running back, can be a three down running back. And that 3 down running back is just kind of getting like slowly deterring back and back and back. And like the salary is dropping, max salary is dropping. It's just like, it's by committee now. And it's just crazy to see because these are studs. This is like Dalvin Cook, Ezekiel Elliott.
I was going to say, has Zeke signed anywhere?
No, they're in like the same boat. It's like we have done enough to expect this max salary, but no team is going to pay it because they have just a committee of players they can get. And running backs are getting taken in the 5th, 6th, 7th round, and they're playing like fast. These are guys coming out in slot formation or being able to run like bubbles and stuff like that, like just to be able to get in the game. And Zeke and Delvin don't do that too much. I mean, Delvin's more of a screen back because that's kind of how Minnesota plays. But other than that, he doesn't run routes like that.
It's just crazy going along those lines. Like it came out that the Giants offered Saquon even less money after the draft than they did before the draft, and Saquon turned down their original offer. Like,
yeah, that's crazy. Saquon's another one. Those 3 together, Cook, Elliott, and him. Like, I just can't believe that they're not signed on a team.
Saquon not having a deal that's extended past this season is just insane to me because that dude was the Giants. That's all they had.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the Giants are kind of all over Danny Dimes, and they kind of just said fuck Saquon, and they're hoping the receivers, their new receivers coming in, are going to play like a huge role, and they kind of like are forgetting about the running game that kind of carried them over the last 8 years. But he has had injuries. He's been very injury prone. So
you're not wrong.
As a GM, it's like, are we going to waste this money, or are we just going to have 2 dudes do it?
Oh, it's hard to say. It really is hard to say.
Yeah, it's hard to say, especially from a Lions fan. It's like, why couldn't we draft one of those motherfuckers, dude? We would have taken them. Obviously, we got our thing going on with the running backs now with Montgomery and Gibbs, but for the last 10 years, like, couldn't we have had one of those running backs that are now not worth shit?
Since Barry retired, I think we've had 1 or 2 1,000-yard rushers.
I think Jaha the best.
Yeah, he was good. He just had concussion problems.
I think it was since Reggie Bush.
Yeah,
and then before last year or 2 years ago, it was like a fucking 10-year streak where we didn't have like more than X amount of, like, it was like 3 100-yard games from a running back. I mean, that's ridiculous. That was the Stafford Megatron era, and fuck running the ball in that time, but it's still losing. Crazy. Always losing. Why would we run the ball? Exactly.
Right. But, okay, Dalvin Cook, okay, predict the 2, DeAndre and Dalvin. Where do you think they sign?
DeAndre goes to the Bills on a low contract. Cook goes to Miami and makes them a super team. They have some of the best receivers in the league. And if they just get a good, even though Miami's running backs last year weren't bad, like Mostert was putting up 180 yards a game. Yeah, exactly.
Jr.,
yeah. So if you can get Cook behind that line, if they're still doing that, run game scheme wise, I think that team is disgusting. and they'll give the Bills a fucking run for their money.
I think D-Hop is going to sign. Man, I'm going to say the Chiefs just because you said it, and I got thinking about it. He goes and signs with the Chiefs, wins the Super Bowl this year. And I don't think Dalvin gets traded to any team until a running back gets hurt in the preseason.
Damn, you think? Damn, that's unlucky, bro.
That's just how it goes, though. Like when you think back to like Teddy Bridgewater, someone he got traded for someone who got hurt, and then he was the one who got hurt. Then they had to trade for a quarterback. So it happens all the time, unfortunately. But I think that's what's going to happen.
That's just wild, though, just because how valuable and how good he has been in the last 8 years. And he's just like, yeah, we're just going to wait. And then hopefully his stock just keeps decreasing at that point,
Right.
and then you get him for fucking pennies on the dollar.
Right.
That'd be nice. What about Tom Brady buys into the Raiders? Still awaiting. What's up?
He did, or it was announced by Mr. Davis. I think it's Fred Davis. Is now
Best haircut in the league,
right.
baby.
That Tom Brady is going to buy into the Raiders. Still waiting NFL approval. I think Brady also owns one of the WNBA franchises with Davis's fun group, essentially.
Yeah.
So obviously the rumors started coming right away. Oh, he's buying into the franchise. He's going to come back and play, blah, blah, blah. Josh McDaniels is there from his time in New England. Jimmy G's there. Oh, Devontae Adams is there. Tom Brady came out and said the other day he's not coming back. He just wants to be a part of the NFL for the rest of his life. His most important job right now is being a father. So it seems like he's not coming back.
He's not coming back. Shut up. He's gone, bro. Hang his jersey up. Retire him. He's not coming back.
I agree. And good for Tom Brady, right? Like all these, superstars are putting their money into sports franchises. So they're not going anywhere anytime soon.
Mm-hmm.
But, taking care of himself and his family for the long run.
I thought it was cool that he said the next 35 years he would like to be in the NFL, which is cool because a lot of people get out of the league and they're out of the league.
Right.
Some of them broadcasting, Tom turned it down. The Supermax, he turned down the Supermax of Supermax deals.
Yeah, with Fox, I think.
Yeah. And he obviously had other plans lined up. He'd rather, not have to come into a booth and he could just sit there and watch the Raiders lose games and make money.
In Las Vegas.
He had to do something after the FTX scandal, right?
Right. You got to.
Did you see that shit that Shaq said to Steph Curry?
No.
So Steph got him into the FTX and shit, and they were live on TNT when Shaq got the email saying he basically indicted, where he had to go talk, and he's on an interview with Steph, and he's like, yeah, thanks for getting me in trouble too, by the way. And he's like, don't say anything, but thanks for getting me in trouble. And they're both just losing it because he knows exactly what he's talking about. Just a huge fucking millions of dollars scammed, basically.
That's terrible.
It was just funny. It was hilarious to see on live TV because they're looking at each other you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about, but you can't say it. You can't say it.
Everyone else is like, what the hell is going on?
Mm-hmm. All the producers are like, don't say it. Don't even say those 3 letters.
Good night. Speaking of Shaq, I don't know why it just popped in my head, but there was a TikTok. He raced Michael Phelps in a swimming contest. It was Shaq and 3 other female Olympians versus Michael Phelps. They did where the girls all did a different stroke, and then Shaq jumped in to the water and did the freestyle to end it, and Michael Phelps pulled away at the end, but Shaq had a huge lead. I was like, holy shit, really?
I can't believe it didn't fucking sink.
Everyone was saying damn, Shaq could actually swim pretty good for a dude that size, 7'2", 350.
Yeah, he goes 2 feet off of one fucking stroke with one arm.
Right. And his dive was clean getting into the pool. I was like, okay, big man.
Dude, he's a man amongst many things. That guy does it all.
Someone said like Shaq out here asking people, what would you like to do if you had to pick one thing, or if you had to pick to do something with one athlete, what would you do? And then going and doing it because he's got the money.
Hell yeah. Yeah, he's a fucking legend. Fucking sheriff, DJ, announcer. I mean, he literally does everything. He's a doctorate.
Yep.
Dude, the guy, he's got everything. I don't care if it was from the University of Phoenix or whatever the fuck that was.
He still got it. That's all that matters.
Facts, dude. Did you see, actually, there was like a story about him. He was like, he wanted to get his like doctorates or whatever. And they were like, yeah, we can't just like do it for you. Like, we have to have at least 12 people like for us to like make money. So we just paid for 11 other of his friends to get a doctorate as well.
He said, all right, I'm getting one and you're getting one. Doctorate for you. Doctorate for you.
Everybody gets a doctorate.
That's crazy.
It's like, yeah, that's Shaq. He'll figure it out.
Makes sense though. He talks about like his first paycheck and how he blew through it because he
like
got
$100K instantly.
Because he didn't know how taxes worked, and it got cashed into the bank. He went and got his black on black Benz. Came home. His dad said, "Where's mine?" So they went back, got one. Then he went back and got his mom one, and just blew through this money. And the bank manager called him the next day, said, "Hey, you're gonna want to slow down. You got to pay taxes on this money."
That's like every young millionaire. That's
Right.
their biggest problem. Buy it all, and then the end of the year comes around, and you're like, "Fuck."
Taxes on 1 million is 2 million, right? Isn't that what they say?
Yeah, exactly.
What? NHL, that the Stanley Cup, right? Yeah, game one.
Yes, sir.
Tonight.
Game one.
Florida Panthers, they crushed my heart, swept the Hurricanes. I had that future from the Hurricanes from back in August, so rip to that. And then they're playing the Golden Knights from Vegas, so I'll be rooting for the Golden Knights because I'm bitter. But who do you like in that?
I like the Knights too. They open up tonight 1.5 puck line,
Okay.
-1.5 puck line. I like Golden Knights. I seen like, it shows the whole country and like what state wants what team to win. 49 states want Vegas to win. Florida wants Florida to win.
Makes sense. It would be really interesting though if Miami Heat and the Florida Panthers were able to win because they're both in Miami, I'm pretty sure. So it'd be the first time I think ever that the same cities had two major championships in the same season.
Dude, that's got to be lit. I wonder if they have a game like on the same night or like maybe a night after home wise. Like Miami is just raking it in.
Right. The only city I can think of would be Boston from like 2004, probably Patriots and Red Sox. But yeah, so that would be pretty dope to see.
Fuck yeah. I hope Vegas wins. My sister is in Vegas and she cheers for the team.
Right.
So I've kind of, for the past like 5 years, always liked Vegas for, and they were new to the league. Most people, kind of just like hope they did well for NHL standpoint in the city. So I like Vegas. I hope they fucking sweep Florida. I could care less about a 7-game series or money for the NHL.
Right.
Yeah, I like Vegas. I like I think it was both teams to score in the second period for plus 140.
Okay.
It's a very odd one, but I do like it.
I like it. I might have to throw a little bit on that tonight.
I seen like both of these teams never played each other.
Mm-hmm.
So the thought behind it is it's going to be extremely defensive and less risk taking in like the first period or so. They think a lot of people I was talking to, they think it's going to be less shots on goals just because it's going to be more of a defensive game.
Control the puck.
Yeah. Line set at 5.5. So Vegas doesn't really think it,
Right.
At least, 4-2 kind of game. So I like that second period, both teams score.
Okay. You're telling me take the under 1.5 for the first period then.
I ain't saying anything what they're gonna do in the first. It could be 3-3 by the second.
All right.
But yeah, that was just a little sprinkle I liked.
Okay, all right.
And I would, like I said, I know they're the favorites, but I would take Vegas in 5.5 if they have that line as well. I like the 4-1.
I have not looked into it, but that I'm sure it's out there.
Yeah, for sure. Not too much NHL going on lately.
Mm-mm. All right, you want to get to a top 5?
Yeah, let's do it. Today on our top fives, we're gonna do top 5 wide receivers of all time. And like they usually are, these will be pretty overlapped.
I would go out on the limb and say very overlapped.
Very overlapped.
Uh, the rankings might just be the difference, obviously. I'll give you mine first. Number one, in my eyes, the greatest receiver of all time is Randy Moss. So, just point to the sky and run. Randy, throw it to him. He's catching it.
Fuck it, Randy down there somewhere.
Right, exactly. Jason Williams, white chocolate, throwing it to him in high school, everything. Like, it was.
That's so sick.
It is. He runs a 4.3 40. Like, you can't catch the dude. He's too tall. He jumps way too high. Number 2, Jerry Rice. The man was catching bricks with his bare hands when he was a child and never dropped a pass. It seemed like no one could cover him. Obviously, he played in an era that wasn't always the best, and he still holds the all the receiving numbers records. So he was definitely good.
When it was less pass oriented, and he still dominated the numbers. Like he was the first one to be like that.
Right, and I just don't remember him. So it's definitely like recency bias for sure.
Yeah.
Number 3, I have Megatron, Calvin Johnson. The only person I've ever seen where some people will line up and double team him at the goal line. Like, they are putting 2 dudes on you from the snap. They're gonna press you, both of them, like a punt, like the cover guy for punt.
Punt return.
And then Matt Stafford always saying, fuck it, Calvin's down there somewhere, and then him catching it over 4 Bengals is just all time in my eyes.
For sure.
Number 4, I'm going T.O., the prima donna himself. The man, look at all the numbers. Remember watching him play and how dominant he was. He played in the Super Bowl on a broken ankle. That's my quarterback. He's all time. Yep. And then number 5, we kind of talked about him before the show today. Larry Fitzgerald would be number 5 for me. So the man had more tackles in his career than he did drops. Think about that.
That's so fucking crazy, dude.
That's an all-time stat.
People have more drops in 1 year than he's had in a whole 15-year career.
As a receiver, he has more tackles than drops.
That's fucking disgusting stat line. All right, I'm not gonna lie, we are damn near the same fucking list. Randy Moss, number 1 for me as well.
Okay.
There is some recency bias. I didn't get to watch Jerry in his prime. I didn't get to watch Jerry at all. So it's a little different for me, but I like Randy. I think if you would have put Randy in Jerry Rice's shoes, he might have did better.
Right.
I mean, I don't think there's any downfall there. So if you want 1 or 2, Jerry Rice, Randy Moss, that doesn't really matter. I don't think it'll fluster too many people. So Randy Moss, then Jerry Rice. Number 3, Calvin. He's my favorite receiver of all time. He'd be number 1 over Randy. I liked Calvin that much.
And honestly, if he would have probably played longer, he might have climbed up the list even further.
Yeah, or played on a better team.
Right. No, 100% agree.
People would remember him more of not just being a freak athlete, but they would remember him being a freak athlete and winning.
Right.
Definitely give him a boost. Number 4 for me is Larry Fitz. Like you said, he's got more tackles and drops. 15-year vet. He's just a prototype wide receiver. If you could have 4 Larry Fitzgeralds, you would.
Right.
Number 5, Marvin Harrison.
Oh, okay.
And my number 6 would have been T.O. But number 5, Marvin Harrison. He's got the all-time single season record. He's did his thing, I think. And like I said, I got to watch him a lot. So I think him or Terrell Owens, number 5. I don't think anyone's batting an eye. But
no, I tend to agree with that.
Yeah, and I liked Marvin a lot because he wasn't the freak athlete like T.O. Like, he had to run crisp routes and he had to catch the ball. Obviously, they all did, but all the other top 5 were like freakish athletes that could just make plays that other receivers couldn't. Harrison was just so fucking clean in his route running that, I mean, he obviously had Peyton too, but he was just so clean in his route running where he was just so fucking open all the time.
Right, and he never like caused a stir. Like he was just that team guy that, all right, I am getting open. You're gonna throw me the ball, and that we're gonna score touchdowns.
Yeah, and he wasn't the 9 route guy. He's not the deep
No,
ball guy. So being able to get that many receptions and being the number one receiver on your team without being able to blow the top off and teams being able to scout against that, they can walk the safeties up and you're still finding the spot to get open.
he was a technician.
Yeah, exactly. Him and Larry are kind of on the same level for me. Larry was, a little bigger built or whatever, but they were just like prototype receivers that coaches would just love to have on their team.
The one thing I really love about Larry Fitzgerald is the run blocking. He was willing to do it and did it well. Like he was like having another tight end out there. The man could do it all.
Yeah, I mean they put him in motion to clear that like scraping linebacker. I mean, probably more than any wide receiver ever in their career, like blocking wise. The only other team that blocks like Larry Fitzgerald, like stereotypically, is Green Bay.
Right.
Like Green Bay, you have to be able to block. It doesn't matter if you're a super talent. Like if you can't block, you're out.
Because all the
Don't
bubble
care.
screens that they run and all that jazz.
Yeah, and just that's like the integrity of Green Bay. They're just known for that. Like you
Mhm.
have to be able to block.
For sure.
So yeah, prototype receivers, top 1 or top 2, Randy Moss, Jerry Rice, guaranteed. Kelvin, my favorite all time. T.O. is just fucking hilarious. His celebrations, him and Ocho Cinco, like I just remember that. The popcorn in the face, grabs the phone and calls someone.
It's just
Dude.
all of it. It's just awesome.
Yeah, T.O.'s the GOAT, bro. He was one of the funniest players that didn't, after the league, go do something on camera.
Right.
He's super quiet. You would imagine like somebody would have paid that guy to come talk because he's a good talker.
Right. And yeah, he has that personality.
Yeah, imagine like Ocho Cinco and Terrell Owens on like separate sides,
Right.
and having one guy in the middle. It'd be like having Charles Barkley and Shaq, NFL style. You put a stereotypical funny white dude in the middle and just let everyone have a heyday.
Right. Yeah. And they're both talking about how this guy couldn't cover me.
The whole time,
right now,
dude.
Right now, let me lace him up.
Same shit, bro. That's like Prime. He still says that.
Well, I think Ocho Cinco and Prime even lined up because they were jabbing at each other. Like, good night.
Yeah, that would be good. All right, buddy. Got any last words for us today?
No. Episode 13. That it's been fun so far. You got to keep it rolling. Baseball, long season. Tigers, they're starting to hit. It looks fun this month. They, Riley Green looked like the dude we hope he's going to look like. So if the young talent can come up and produce even more, that's going to be awesome. And then Ronald Acuna now is only plus 100 odds for MVP. So
good call, my boy.
Yep. Hope you guys listen. Hope you guys listen.
Yeah, bouncing off that real quick. This is obviously like the slowest part or the slowest point in sports in the podcast, just because it's baseball season, no football, only the finals left in basketball. So if you're listening, hang in there. We appreciate you guys' support. We see you guys. We really do appreciate you. And we're just going to keep blasting these off 2 times a week.
Absolutely. A little bit of trivia. There are only 2 days in the calendar year in which no sports are played. Can you guess what they are?
Oh, my God.
It's not a specific date. It revolves around a certain event, though. I will say that.
The presidential election?
No. So I'll give it away if you guys have trivia. It revolves All-Star break for the MLB. So the day before the All-Star break, the day after the All-Star break, there's no professional sports, and it's the worst for all of us degenerates because we got to go to like Korean baseball or
Korean ping pong, baby.
or we're betting on golf or something like that for the weekend. So that's coming up soon, unfortunately for everyone, but we'll get through it. We're under 100 days for college football, and I think we're coming up on 100 days, if not under it already, for NFL too. So
Let's go, baby.
Yes, sir.
Looking forward to it. Well, good shit. I appreciate you again, brother. We will see you again in a few days, man.
All right, buddy. Talk to you.
Yes, sir. Peace out.
Another one for Tommy boy. Another one for the world. Another one for the listeners.